Welcome back to New Am Sam Radio, the podcast for creatives. It is I, the mayor, Flobo Voice, in the mayor's office, speaking with those who are doing the dang thing. For those of you who listen to my show, you'll know that I started off as a nice, healthy, unhealthy 375 pounds that I worked very hard to get down. But my guest today is making it encouraging for other people to get out there and move. Please welcome Fitz Koehler. How's it going, Fitz?
Mr. Flobo, I'm so happy to be with you. Thank you for having me on my show. I got to tell you, have the most perfect teeth ever.
Thank you.
Braces or are they natural?
No, they're braces. I had what they called riders back in the day. They're up here, and so they're all down now. But yeah, thanks to braces. Thanks to my mom. The thing is, she's from a childhood where they used to like yank things out, so she was like super conscious about that growing up. She's like, "No, we're getting it fixed the right way." So.
Good mom. Yeah, I had braces twice.
Oh yeah, was it painful the second time or the first time?
No, I guess I had buck teeth and they were spaced out. I didn't wear my retainer after my braces number one. They set me back in there and I got to be a metal mouth for a few more years.
And a warrior to boot. I love it. Let's get down to brass tacks. The first thing I saw about you and your brand is your website. It's a fitness website, but it's not called fitness. It's called Fitzness. I have a tenuous relationship with plays on words, but tell me about this. Tell me about the website. Tell me about the brand and how's it going so far?
Yeah, so Fitzness was unobvious/obvious. So I started teaching fitness at 14, and it wasn't until I was working on television and working on video projects and maybe 19 or 20 where I thought, what am I going to call this thing? And then finally, ding, 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 Fitzness. My name is Fitz, for crying out loud. I'm a fitness expert named Fitz. Could it be more obvious? So I trademarked that stuff ASAP. And if you try to use it, folks, I will go after you. Our monsters. So don't even touch Fitzness. But yeah, so that's my little Irish gift. And what else did you ask me? I got so excited about Fitzness.
Well, 14, you said? Like you started teaching at 14. Was that kind of like a moment you going, this is my path? Or was kind of like, I like doing this. Let me try an experiment. What was that like?
You know, and it probably was 15 when I started teaching, but I blew my knee out playing soccer, went to physical therapy, thought that might be interesting until I saw the PT doing like creepy stuff, touching my scar. And I thought, no way, I'm squeamish. So then he told my mom to make me go to the gym and lift weights or I'd re-injure my knee. So she lied. She lied to the nice people at Spa Lady Gym and told them I was 16 so I could work out when I was only really 15. Yeah. And then I started doing classes and I thought the instructors were cool. I thought the classes were fun. And I was working, like my first job was a birthday clown at the skating rink. But eventually I worked my way up to Cinnabon in the mall. And the manager was mean. So yeah. I went into the gym and I said, well, are you looking? And they said, sure. And it was a Tuesday. And the guy said, have you ever taught a class? And I said, no, but I'd love to learn and love to try. He goes, okay, Friday night at 5:30, you're teaching the 30-minute low impact class. And I said, okay. And so I gave it a go and it went really well. And it was something I loved and continued on. And then things just, my career has evolved so much. I can't tell you. I mean, it went from classrooms and personal training to television. And once I got on TV, strangers started approaching and saying, oh my God, I love your show. I work out with you every day and I've lost 17 pounds. And I would think, whoa, mind blown. I get to help somebody I've never met. And then I started writing articles. I was a competitive kickboxer for 10 years and they were writing articles about me. And I really wanted to write an article, but I was too chicken to ask. And then I had that moment of, dummy, you stand in a ring in front of thousands of people across from a person who wants to knock your block off and you're afraid to ask whether you can write the article or not. So I called an editor and I said, hey, blah, 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 I'd like to write an article. He goes, well, gee, I'd love that. How much money do you want? And I thought, he said, yes. And he's going to give me money. And so my first article was how to kick people in the head. And a few weeks after it got published, some dude in Kentucky wrote a handwritten letter, mailed it to my gym and said, Fitz Koehler, thank you so much. After a decade in martial arts and combat sports, I finally was able to kick someone in the head. And I was like, oh, you know, the angels sang, and I thought I helped someone kick someone in the head. And so I became addicted to mass media and mass impact. And from there, my career totally just spun. I left the gym, I left personal training, and everything I do is geared towards reaching enormous amounts of people and helping everybody I can get my hands on live better and longer by making fitness understandable, attainable, and fun.
And so you'll never be a birthday clown again, is what you're saying.
You know what? It's so funny because I kind of still am the birthday clown. One of the things I do, and I do it a hell of a lot, is I'm a professional race announcer. I come to Los Angeles. I announce the Los Angeles Marathon every year, amongst other iconic, massive running events. And what do? I stand in front of everybody and I get them engaged, entertained, informed. I'm kind of the birthday clown of the Los Angeles Marathon. So it's not too far from where I started.
Well, let's get into that. I dabbled in medium distance running on my weight loss. I hate the word, but journey. So I did a couple of half marathons, 5 or 6 of those. I'm mostly a 10K racer. I've been to those races at 6, 5, 4:30 in the morning, and there's only one person who's hype, and that is the race announcer. What is that like, getting up there and knowing everyone is literally or physically cold, or the audience is cold?
Yeah, engaged. So I mean, my runners are like crack cocaine to me, and I'm obsessed. They make me high. I love the opportunity. So yeah, I get on those stages and sparks fly. I'm like, good morning. And I mean it. And what I really appreciate is the fact that you just said it's often cold, it's dark. They've been up since 3 a.m. Yet when I say good morning, they light up in return and they fuel me with their joy. Our running community is pretty incredible. And I am, if I'm on the microphone, I am not the only person that's hyped there. My runners, my start lines are wild. They look like World Cup soccer on the road. It's incredible. I love it.
Well, talk to me about that invitation. Yeah, you said that you were in the mass media, you were writing, and I'm sure that first time someone asked, hey, can you do this, was kind of like, oh, that's a whole new space I wasn't thinking of, but you made the jump. Walk me through that. Why did you say, hey, you know what, this is the next step for me in my career?
So everything I've done is an evolution, and one thing leads to another and another. So if you're out there and you're a small business person, when someone offers you an opportunity, say yes, even if you don't have the skills yet, and figure it out, because you have no idea where this weird, wonderful path will take you. And so I am also a sport performance expert, and I was teaching clinics for Run Disney in Florida and sometimes in Disneyland. But their race announcer, he was stuck at the expo introducing speakers all day. And first couple times I met him, he would say, gosh, you're our only speaker. We have people that come on stage and talk, but they're not speakers. You're the only person who engages. You're the only person who includes everybody and compels them to action, which is really nice. Yeah. And then maybe the third time he delivered that compliment, I said, well, thank you, but I don't know what to do with this information. He goes, you know what? I know what to do with it. He said, I need a co-announcer for the OC Orange County Marathon in California in May. Are you interested? And I had seen what he did, and he does it at a very high level. His name is Rudy Novotny. I said, well, I've never done it before, but I'd love to give it a try, much like I did when I was 15 years old and I got the opportunity to teach aerobics back in the day. And so I said, let's do it. And thankfully, the race director, Gary Kutcher, gave me a try, gave me a chance. We spoke on the phone. He said, yeah, sounds like you'd be a good fit. Come on down. And within about an hour of yelling go on marathon morning, he came over and said, can you come back next year?
Oh, wow.
And then opportunities just started blossoming. The word got out that I'm the fun one and I bring massive energy, and more race directors than not are wanting that now. So I believe I'm probably the busiest race announcer in the country. Not to say there's not a bunch of other people doing good stuff, but I definitely have a heavy schedule, and it's, I think, the best race schedule in the country too.
So walk me through the night before and night of, right? You're flying into a city. I'm assuming you work nationwide. You're flying into a city. You're getting accustomed to a city. You got to be up early enough to make sure you're okay and you're rested and you are getting hyped to make other people hype. Like, what's that process like? Do you stay up the night before? Or are you like a zombie through? Or?
No, and I love that you asked that, because so many people think, like when I host LA Marathon, people are like, oh, she's partying out in LA. No, LA Marathon, there's a 5K on Saturday, there's a full on Sunday. I come in on Thursday. There's normally an expo for shopping and speaking and stuff like that. I do that on Friday. I go to bed really early because my wake up call is often 3:30 or 4 a.m.
Mhm.
And I wake up, my alarm goes off, and there's not an ounce of regret that I have to wake up at that time. I think, zing, here I go. My clothes are laid out. My notebook has all my notes and we call it a script. It's bullet points, but my talking points are in there. My cowbell's ready. My music's ready. I
Yeah.
custom mix all my music for all my events. Nobody's allowed to touch music when I'm on the microphone because I want it done right.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get there. So in 2019, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I went for about a year and a half of chemo. And in between there, I had radiation and surgery. And my very first race after diagnosis was the LA Marathon. And I lost a good portion of my hair on the stage in front of Santa Monica Pier. I mean, it was very intense. But what I learned that day is that no matter what was wrong with me, race announcing took that away. And
Mhm.
so as the rounds of chemo kept coming and I got sicker and sicker, and, I was bald, and I'd show up like I would spend the night on the floor. I would sleep on the hotel bathroom floor. Cause when you're sick for some reason, you just want to sleep on the floor, just stay there.
Mhm.
So I'd get up at 4 a.m. My alarm would go off and I'd put on my running clothes and drag myself over to the start line. And then the second I stepped onto those stages, everything that was wrong with me, and I can tell you that everything was wrong with me. My eyes changed color, my fingernails ripped off, my innards were a catastrophe. But when I stepped on those stages surrounded by those awesome people who really care about their health, their community, great causes, everything that was wrong with me just vanished. And I got to be full force Fitz Koehler as long as
Yeah.
I had runners on the course. It was magic. It was just the coolest experience in my life.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that, just because there is that balance of performing for whatever the reason is. I mean, from comedy, I mean, you're race announcing, and of course, there's a physical aspect of it. It takes a lot to give that the battery to somebody else. Did you nap afterwards? Did you just like did you just like make yourself scarce, or was it enough of a high, so to speak, to put you through the rest of the day? Like, what was the energy level like performing when you were sick?
Well, when I was sick, it was just that I was on. I don't do 100%. I'm 150% or when I'm
Let's go, Vince.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very big, and you can see me chasing. I'll spend time on my stage for sure, but then I get down in the chute and I'm running around. I have a lot of running fans, so if I can, if they're not trying to PR, I will find them and I will run them through the finish line, and that usually makes them feel pretty special. But yeah, when I was sick and doing it, the second the final finisher would cross, and I would give that person as much or more attention than the champion had, instantly you could hear it. It was like a robot dying. It was like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
about me just shut down. My voice would disappear, and I mean, I would go back to my hotel and just collapse. It was crazy. It was really crazy.
And you document this in your book, and people can really go into detail about that. And I gotta say, I'm not the first person to say this because I've listened to some of your other interviews, but the perseverance there is a whole other level, Fitz. And maybe I'm just a mere mortal, probably reading your story, going, "I'm inspired, but I can't see myself pushing through." I mean, what about anyone else's who may be reading in their struggles and their tips to overcome whatever's stopping them?
Well, and this is where I really went right, is I built a career out of something I was so desperately in love with and passionate about. And so I do believe if you had a stand-up show at night, even if you had the flu, you would figure out a way to get up there and you would knock it out of the park because that's who you are, right? That's what
Yeah.
you do, you live for. And yeah, I when sometimes people get sick or people get hurt, something traumatic happens, they hit that fork in the road and then they think, "Oh man, I really need to reevaluate and do something else." When I
Mhm.
hit that fork in the road, I doubled down on what I was already doing, and the people I was doing it for. It was my kids and my career, and I was full throttle on both. And if I would have stayed home, like so many, we mentioned COVID before this, but
Right.
the new mentality is hide out. Oh my gosh, you might be sick. Hide, duck for cover, cover your face, cover everything, cover your mouth. And me, if I didn't get on those planes and go surround myself by tens of thousands of sweaty, germy strangers and get their hugs, all I would have been was sick. All I would have been was sick. I just can't identify with people that hide. And you do you, folks. If you're a hider and that makes you feel great, okay. But right now, You make sure the thing you're doing in life is worth putting it all at risk for. And that was the beauty of who I am and what I do is those runners, my kids, either one, I would risk it all again because they lightened my life and they took away such hardship. And cancer wasn't fun. People are like, oh, she must have had it easy. I was I was ravaged. I was dragged behind a horse for a year and a half. I was so sick. Every part of me was just like disseminated. I was violently ill every day for a very long time. And still, I knew that when I got on those planes, I was going to figure it out. I never had a doubt that I'd be able to do what I was headed out to do. I just knew that I was going to do it. People say, how are you going to do it? And I just say, I just am. And yeah, that's part of me. That's part of me. But the other thing is I made that choice and I make that choice every day to do a job that I love. If I were, I don't know, if I were a stenographer or if I were, putting together widgets on an assembly line, I probably would have stayed home. So figure it out. Do what you love. Do the thing that you would do, bald and gray and sick with cancer.
Yeah, I could tell you the widget factory has the worst PTO scheme. So you talked about your commitment to fitness and talked about your commitment to your family, but we're seeing a little bit of cross hatching with that with the Morning Mile program. I thought it was pretty cool to how you have yourself involved with that. Tell us more about what that is.
Yeah, so my Morning Mile program is a before school walking running program where kids get to start each day in an active way with fun music and friends. They call it the Morning Mile, has nothing to do with a mile. The school will give their student body and their families and the faculty 30-minute window before school. We're going to play music. You show up at your leisure. You can come and walk one lap, go to class, or you can come out and run 4 miles in 30 minutes and then go to class. We offer an incredible system of rewards that keeps these kids motivated and inspired. And, it's the only program that is no cost to the students, no cost to the schools. It's funded by generous individuals and sponsors. So if you want to sponsor, go to morningmile.com. But yeah, we reject nobody. In fact, because my laser focus is mass impact, the school sign a contract. They will not alienate anybody. If you're in kindergarten, if you're a senior, if you're a mom or dad, everyone's welcome and nobody gets charged. And because of that, we just say, y'all come, and the kids show up and they think it's fun and they like earning rewards and they like challenging themselves. So where other programs are like, you will do a marathon, you'll do 26.2 miles. We don't have any such expectations. I just say, y'all have fun. We're going to reward you for what you do. And we have elementary school kids who will do 700 miles in a school year.
Wow.
Yeah. No coaching, no choreography. They're just out there and we unleash them, and it's magic. And many of my schools, they have 90-something% of the student body participating throughout the year, and the bus driver and the principal and the lunch lady. So it's probably the most important thing I'll ever do professionally. And when I go one day in the long distance future, that's the thing I want on my tombstone. I want Fitz Koehler, Morning Mile.
That's really great to hear.
Yeah.
What do you account for the gap, though, for services for children and adolescents, particularly? I know that you were talking about how there's like ages to join certain gyms, but I do feel like there's a bit of a gap as far as the totality of health there for those individuals.
You know what? I think there are a lot of opportunities. I give credit to schools for wanting to serve their students. PE, sometimes the PE is one day a week, which is kind of lame. So it's the daily thing, it's exercise is not for a race. Exercise is not for a class. Exercise should be ingrained in you, just like brushing your teeth, right? It's not so complicated. And that's why I chose running and walking, because if almost everybody knows how to do it, right? You can get out in your cowboy boots and your pretty dress, and you can still go walk and participate in the Morning Mile, or you can wear your loafers or your Air Jordans, whatever. The thing I find interesting is elementary schools are huge with Morning Mile. We have so many parents are invested and they reach out and they say, oh my God, my kid has ADD or ADHD, or my kid won't sit down. Can we get the program started? I need him or her to have this outlet before school. But then the parent involvement starts dropping off in middle and high school, which is sad, because that's where kids, their bodies start getting awkward, right? Puberty happens. They can't afford a gym. They don't have a car. They can't drive to the gym. Maybe they're not old enough to go to the gym. and maybe they're not good enough to be on the soccer team anymore. That's where you have to start trying out. You can't just play. God forbid we let a 12-year-old just show up and have some fun with a basketball. And so the morning mile is this, welcoming, free, skill-less option for the masses. And I really find great value and pride to know that so many middle and high school kids are utilizing it, just personal fitness, or they walk and talk with their girlfriends or their guy friends in the morning. And, maybe their intention is just to walk and talk. And the outcome is, better fitness, longevity, better grades. The outcomes are extraordinary. In fact, the morning mile got started in, I think it was 2010. I should know this, but it's been a long time. I expect our Olympians to start saying, yeah, I did this program called the Morning Mile when I was a kid. That's where I got my start. And Olympians, executives, it's building those good habits that affect everything.
That'd be kind of able to warm the heart. Like, oh yeah, something I started is everlasting. That's what we are create. That's why we do create things. We talked about what you do, which is a lot. But do you believe in days off? And if so, what do you do on a day off?
I do. I mean, I think as a private business owner, you're never off. I'm always going to respond to the email quickly or respond to those texts, especially the work ones. But I love time outside. I'm an outside junkie. With my dogs, I start almost every day at the dog park. And I love trails. What I really love is water sports. I love paddleboarding. I love being dragged behind boats. So if anyone's out there and you want to take Fitz Koehler for a ride on your water skis or a wakeboard or on a jet ski, the answer is hell and yes. I love being active. I participate in races. So I do road races. I do 5Ks, 10Ks, halves. I've done the Boston Marathon. I really like obstacle course racing. So anything with dirt and mud and laughter makes me happy. A little bit of I guess, an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah. I'm such a mud race diva, though. I'm like, I'm taking a rental car because I'm not getting anything messy on the way back. I'm the worst. You don't have me around. There's a question we always ask of our guests here on the show. It's kind of our thing. But do you believe in junk food? And if so, what's your favorite?
I do. And so it's very weird how, it's usually like the new yoga instructors who's like, oh my God, you drink Diet Coke. And I think, oh, get a life. So yeah, I mean, my stance is if 80 to 90% of your intake is nutritious, the other part you can have fun with. I'm going to list. I'm just going to go there. I love Diet Coke. I normally choose decaf. I love milk chocolates, not dark. I love milk chocolate. I love French fries. I love fried pickles. They're a new thing in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yes to fried pickles. Chocolate covered strawberries. I would eat chocolate covered French fries if someone made them for me. I'm trying to think. It's usually salty potatoes and chocolate.
Oh, there you go. They have those like the chocolate covered potato chips are pretty rad too. Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. I'm just a fat kid. I'll eat anything. Anything with calories, I'll just put it on.
Well, I love that you've lost so much weight. I'm 45 pounds less than I was in my freshman year of college.
Oh, congrats. People always say, okay, that's great. But no, that's really hard. Because like as we get older, man, like those cheeseburgers take a little bit longer to get away.
Respect. I do say it's easy, it's probably easier for kids who are enrolled in sports, right? They just move a lot and so forth. But at some point we got to say, okay, you're old enough to know better. You can't use your age as an excuse for being slovenly. Like, the difference. People know that they should only put a certain amount in their mouth, right? And they should move and they should sleep and they should limit the stuff. So grown-ups out there, your excuses are limited. And if
True.
I can help. I'm happy to boss people around. That's actually one of my favorite things to do is shake people.
And don't forget to hydrate. Fitz Koehler, so glad that you're on the show, New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. Now's the time. You let everyone know all the different things you're working on. And that's okay. Take as much time as you want because you do a lot.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so first of all, I would love for people to come to my home base, Fitzness.com. Fitzness.com, I poured a ton of energy into, and it's the ultimate resource to help everybody get where they want to be physically. We start with the exact formula for weight loss, not a diet, not a pill, not a powder, not a supplement. It's no expense necessary. Exact formula for weight loss just teaches you how to eat the right amount of the right food for the size you personally want to be. So if weight loss or even weight gain is on your agenda, go to the cover of fitzness.com. You'll find the exact formula for weight loss. There are oodles of free recipes and free workout videos and all sorts of guidance to help the regular Jane and Joe get where they want to be. And if you want to get somewhere awesome too, if you want to run Ironman or conquer Ironman, there's guidance for you too. Now, there's a few other ways where you can work with me. Is I do have books out. So my Noisy Cancer Comeback came in 2020. That's my story. And it's all of the adventures and misadventures traveling the country, announcing races with breast cancer. And I get through all the nitty gritty ugly stuff. And then I talk about the hilarious things. And, that's one of those things I think people should open up to, is as cancer can be funny. And I encourage you to laugh at me. That's one of the greatest responses I get, is people like, oh my God, I cried, but then I died laughing. And that means a lot to me. My next 2 books coming out in January 23 are designed for all of those cancer patients and survivors out there who need help going from sick to strong. So my book is Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, Sick to Strong. And then there's a companion journal, Your Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. And, those things are for folks who don't know how to make a strong comeback. I remember when I was through, I think, my 6th month of chemo, and I was scrawny. I'd lost 11% of my body weight and 80% of my strength. And I went into the gym, and that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I can't even lift a percentage of what I used to lift. And at that moment, I just felt what it would be like to be a non-fitness expert, right? If I were a regular person and I tried to lift those weights and I had to lower the pin down 80%, I might have burst into tears and ran out to my car and drove home and just gave up. I think this whole cancer experience is very defeating because things start spinning out of control. So these books are designed to give cancer patients and survivors control, knowledge of the things that you can do to slow the decline. Chemo, radiation, surgeries, they will start having an effect on you. You can fight back. You can fight back with exercise, nutrition, quality rest, and complementary care. And so all of that is very precisely laid out for you. And, maybe you're doing pretty good in chemo and you can still train for your marathon. Great. I'm happy for you. But maybe you're stuck in bed a lot. Well, there's actually a huge photo layout, hundreds of photos that show exercises you can do, in a normal exercise facility, exercises in a chair, if that's where your limitations are, exercises, stretches and strength training and mobility exercises in bed, and then exercises for you to do in a shower. I remember on my sickest days, because I was sick, I would end up getting in the shower multiple times a day, but I always played music, or I played Jerry Seinfeld interviews to keep me happy. And I would let that warm water roll over my back and I would just stretch in there. And I don't know if every cancer patient and survivor knows to do those things. And so the book is very explicit, folks. If you care about someone who has just been diagnosed or has been fighting it off for a while, these books are designed to help your friends. I hope you'll consider gifting it to them. I'm really very excited about that. I also have a course. It's called Fixing Your Life with Fitzness. It's a 5+ hour course. And it's just me talking to you. It's kind of a train the trainer course. So imagine, not imagine, I basically teach you how to train yourself. I teach you how your muscle groups work, how to do strength training and stretching and balance and cardiovascular exercise to achieve your specific goals, how to design your specific program. And then I get into frequently asked questions and excuse busting and all of these. It's amazing how many people have the same exact, but I can't exercise because I'm a dad. Okay, dad, this is, there's a lot of ways you can exercise. Dad, I can't eat healthy because I have a job. All right. Well, a lot of people with a job eat healthy. So yeah, I hit you at all angles, and I'm really proud of the course. And it's helping so many people reach out and say, I took the course last week and I've lost 6 pounds. And that's pretty thrilling. So there, and I'm also on social media at Fitzness. That's everywhere. F as in Frank, IT, Z as in zebra, NESS. And what I would love for you to do, I mean, following is nice, but it would be cool if you followed and then commented and say, I heard you on Flobo Voices podcast, and now I want
Yeah,
friends. Because I'd much rather have friends than followers. Don't you agree?
I agree. Absolutely.
So that was a lot. I have diarrhea of the mouth sometimes, but I've created a bunch of resources to help people, and I'm excited for people to take advantage of them.
Your upcoming book is available online on Amazon through your site directly.
Yeah, so all of my books are
Okay.
available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Noisy is an Audible book as well. It's a audio book, so you can get that and ebook format. The new books are also going to be available everywhere. They just won't have an audiobook yet. I'm considering it.
Well, there you go. Of course, someone who believes in having no excuses puts their book everywhere so you can consume it.
But here's the deal: is when people come to fitzness.com to order their books, I sign every last one of them and I send them out as a fun free gift, and I package them up really pretty. And I like having the personal touch. I'm so grateful when people invest in my books. I want to send them off with love. So you can definitely get them on Amazon or wherever, but if you send it through me, they come with a little extra, or you order it through me, you get a little more.
That's so great. I want to you back later on in other future episodes. We can talk about how that is coming out for you. Fitz, Koehler, so glad you're on the show. Actually honored. I know that you have a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire. So just a little bit of slice of your empire is always great to hear that on the show.
Thank you.
Stand by.